Just over a week on since WWDC, and it's clear that the operating system that saw the most significant change was actually the smallest operating system, at least in terms of its physical screen size, WatchOS. WatchOS 10 is a notable change over WatchOS 9, and so in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 things that I think are going to be most relevant to watch wearers when the new operating system launches in just a few months' time. I'm using the developer beta here, so do remember that this video is just a preview of what's to come, and I've also put the compatibility list up on the screen now, so you can see whether or not your watch is going to be compatible come September. Okay, let's get into it. For me, the most significant change to WatchOS 10 is a complete change to the design language that Apple are using all over the watch now. Previously, watch apps always felt less like a slimmed down version of their iPhone counterparts, and more like complete redesigns but with minimal information. Apple are proving here that just because you've got a smaller screen, you don't have to hold back on what the apps can show you. Weather, for example, looks like a watch version of what you get on the iPhone now, with really rich information. The Sleep app actually gives you a breakdown of all the important sleep information, just like on the iPhone app. This isn't my primary watch, so I don't have any data showing in here, but you can at least see how this works. The Home app looks much more like a slimmed down version of the Home app on the iPhone, complete with the same look and feel. The Activity app now provides quick, glanceable summaries of all the important information, and again, it's in the same design language that you're used to on the iPhone. Even apps like Stocks and the Noise Meter are significantly cleaner, richer, and more enjoyable to use here on the new version of WatchOS. There are 2 apps that I really want to mention here though. World Clock looks so much better now. You can see here that I've got my location in yellow, but I've added Hong Kong in as an additional location, and I can use the digital crown to move the daylight around to find a time of day where we'd both be in daylight hours. So this could be really handy if you're trying to schedule a call, for example. And the Now Playing screen also looks much better, much more in line with what we get on the iPhone, with album art showing front and center. So another major change at the heart of WatchOS 10 is the way in which you access things when you first access your watch. So on OS 9, for example, turning the digital crown from the home screen doesn't do anything, whereas on OS 10, that action will open up your widget view. The idea here is that you can quickly move from your home screen to a view where you can see the most relevant information to you in small cards that you scroll through. As you'd expect, this is all customizable. You simply tap and hold on this screen for a moment, and you can then scroll through and find widgets that you'd like to add here. It takes a bit of getting used to, and as I mentioned earlier, this isn't my primary watch, so it will be interesting to see how this feels when I'm using it as my main way of using my watch, and to see what kind of widgets I'll be able to add over time. You still access all of your apps by tapping the digital crown, although the view is slightly less chaotic this time around, and whereas on OS 9 tapping the side button would take you to your open apps, it now opens the control center rather than you having to swipe up from the bottom, which is infinitely better in my opinion, and actually makes the control center something I'll use quite often now. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my newsletter, The Proper Weekly? I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a tip for an item in the Apple ecosystem. The newsletter goes out each Friday, it's free to join, and I'll include a sign-up link in the description of this video. It wouldn't be a WatchOS update without some new faces, and this year is no exception, although I'll be honest, I was expecting a bit more in terms of new faces for the 10th iteration of WatchOS. There's a Snoopy face that can be added, and there's also a palette face that has a kind of gradient effect as the hands pass over it. It looks nice. I don't think I'll be using either of these personally, but there you go. A bit of a step backward, in my opinion, is the fact that on WatchOS 9, you could swipe left and right on faces to switch between them at any moment. That feature has been removed on OS 10. That's a shame, and I wonder whether this is a deliberate decision. The only thing I can think of here is that people were perhaps accidentally changing faces in the current version of WatchOS, and maybe Apple thought that this was giving some kind of negative experience. 2 activities have seen a major update in WatchOS 10, cycling and hiking. The metrics on offer in cycling now are much deeper and more tailored towards cycling as a specific activity. There's better linking to Bluetooth accessories related to cycling, and the cycling activity will now also display on your iPhone. I'm guessing useful if you've got it mounted to your bike. With hiking, the visuals in both Maps and the Compass app are more tailored to hiking on a trail, showing things like elevation and topographic maps, although I believe this feature is only in the US to begin with. You can get alerts when you pass a specific elevation, and your watch can keep a track of where you last had reception with cellular connectivity waypoints and where you can make emergency calls, which is going to be useful in stopping people from getting into trouble when they're out on the trail. Finally, there's much more of a focus on mental health with all of the OS updates this year, and the watch is no exception. The main change here is in the mindfulness app of your watch, where you can log how you're feeling at a specific time of the day. The entire thing only takes a few seconds to do, so you could obviously do this at specific times of the day or entirely randomly, and you can then view the logged information on your iPhone, which in time will build a detailed picture of your mental health. So there you go, those are what I think are the 5 most important changes coming to WatchOS 10 later on this year. What do you think? Is there anything here you're particularly excited about? Or do you think Apple missed the mark on this one? What should they have included? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.